this or that.
We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
All right, guys, welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani. You're tuning in. It's just you and I today. Where is she? Hopefully she's coming back soon. But it is you and I, and we're tuning in from around the world. We want to know what city, what state, what country you're representing. If you're on Facebook, we want to know. If you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, wherever you are at, we're glad that you're here, because this is the place where people from all over the world tune in to have a great conversation about love, life, relationships, and what we can do to really take your relationship to the next level. Today, we're talking about a topic that I think is important. I think some people may have heard of this, many others have not. We're talking about micro-cheating. It may be a term or phrase that is new to you, but we're going to get into the depths of what micro-cheating is, because micro-cheating is something that we may be engaging in unaware. And so once we understand these subtle forms of how we show up in a relationship, it can really, really help us to pivot and to make the right decisions. But before we do that, guys, as you know, we always like to start off with announcements. Last Chance Weekend is coming up April the 8th through the 10th, just a couple more weeks to go. You really want to get in there. We had an amazing time last month. We're going to have an amazing time this month. So stay tuned. Check out this quick video, and we'll be right back to get the conversation started. That's right, guys. That's the Last Chance Weekend. What an amazing, amazing experience. If you have not experienced it, you definitely want to do so. And guess what? In these weekends, we talk about the things that we talk about on the show. Like on the show, we're telling you the what, but then we give you the how to get out of the what. We give you the path. We give you the steps. We give you the inspiration, the hope, the tools that are necessary to help bring about healing and transformation in your relationship. All right, guys, we're talking about micro-cheating. Micro-cheating is really something that many people engage in, most likely prior to an actual affair. It's like it's the pathway to it. They're the subtle steps that you take as you're getting into a full-blown affair. Many of you remember us talking about, how it's important to establish boundaries when dealing with members of the opposite sex, so that you're not doing anything to compromise the integrity of your relationship. And I think oftentimes we're very cavalier in our approach to these opposite sex friendships. So whether it's somebody we serve in ministry with, or we work at the job with, and they're in a cubicle next to us, or we see them. Oftentimes relationships are being built because you spend the majority of your time most likely probably outside the home. developing relationship, building rapport, gaining a sense of connection, establishing intimacy with other people. And then when you get home, because you may not be in a good space, you barely talk to your spouse, you go your separate ways, you're into your own world, and there's like a desert, right? There are dry bones, a dry land in your household. And so what happens is when you think about what's at home, and you think about what you have outside your home, you're more excited, you're more thrilled, you're more passionate to engage in those type of relationships, but you don't realize it can be death to your actual relationship because you're getting a need met outside your home that should be established for the one within your home. And so what we want to do is talk about what these signs of micro cheating look like, okay? That's our conversation today, to make sure that you are not engaging in this. And if you are, it's a sign that something needs to shift and change. Or maybe it's not you, but you have this feeling, this thing on the inside of you that may suggest something's not right with my spouse. Something's a little bit off. Well, if these are some of the signs that he or she's exhibiting, it's an indication that they are engaged in a micro affair or micro cheating. Let's go to the first one. The first sign is cultivating intimate or erotic energy with others. Now, let's take a step back and let's just talk about this whole notion of flirting. A lot of times people feel like, what's wrong with flirting? It's just innocent back and forth banter. What that is, it's an acknowledgement between two people that there's something there. There's an energy, there's a connection, there's an attraction. And if situations were different, if we were in a different, a different world, I remember Erykah Badu, she had a song called Next Lifetime, and it talked about how she had this interest in somebody but can't do it maybe in the next lifetime. And so that's what the foundation of flirtation is. It's just like, I know we can't, but it would be, if we could, oh man, and there's this back and forth banter that you feel is safe and innocent and no big deal. It's not harming anyone. But what happens is you're cultivating intimacy with that person. You're developing an erotic energy with that person. And maybe it hasn't happened yet. And maybe you've got it on lock. And maybe, you're disciplined and your own sense of morality says, well, this is okay because it's not like we're doing that. You see, you focus on what you're not doing. And so your own denial and your own rationalization and your own justification gets in the way because now you have you've stripped your actions of any type of morality and you've made it just okay. But what happens is the more you begin to establish these connections with other people, the more subtly, slowly over the course of time, you become disconnected from your partner. Now, nothing's happened yet, right? I didn't betray the relationship with an affair. Nothing's happened yet. But there's this emptiness. The connection you once had with your spouse, you no longer have anymore. The conversations you would look forward to, you're good now. You're satisfied because you've got something outside of the home that's, I don't know what's happening. It's brewing. I can't explain it. It's brewing. I can't put my finger on it. And then boom, before you know it, over weeks and over months and over years, all of a sudden, something begins to happen that you did not anticipate because in your mind, nothing was wrong with it from the beginning. And so if you find yourself having this connection with someone, it's an indication that you need to begin to do things differently. Let's go to the next one. Another sign of micro cheating. You're cultivating a fantasy of emotional closeness with others. See, the mind is the most powerful sexual organ that we have. If you think about it, when you're dealing with intimacy with your partner, the reason why oftentimes it doesn't work and it's not going well, there's a shutdown, is because we're in our heads, right? And because there's no mental, emotional connection, nothing else seems to work. And so think about it. When you first got together with your partner, you would dream and you would fantasize and you would ruminate and you'd be in your mind and you couldn't stop thinking about them and your mind was on them and your heart was with them. It was a soul tie. It was a soul connection. That's why they call them soul mates. When that stops happening, then all of a sudden you begin to become fixated in your mind on this other person, and you begin to imagine and you begin visualizing and fantasizing about what life would be like, or what an experience or an exchange would be like with that person. You've gone too far. And when you're fantasizing about what an emotional connection would look like, that is an indication of micro cheating. Guys, we're giving you foundation here. Stay tuned. We got more for you. Stay right there. Hey guys, we're back. We're talking about micro cheating and what are the signs, what are the components of it. I just love what Gonzalez Smith just said. He said in Proverbs 23, verse 7, as a man or woman thinketh in his heart, so is he. And that is where it all begins, right here, in the heart and in the mind. And if a seed is planted, that seed can grow. And you know how that seed grows. Just think about when you plant seeds into the ground and you water, you're constantly watering, right? The soil, the sunlight is hitting the appropriate nutrients. It's an environment that is conducive for growth. There's something called the law of growth or the law of germination. And that over a period of time, things begin to, a sprout comes up out of the ground, and then all of a sudden it grows into a tree. And then you're wondering, like, how did this happen? It happened over time. It was your consistent connection that built something up that you did not anticipate at first, because it happened slowly. I don't even know how it happened. It happened. What do you mean you don't know how it happened? Every major betrayal is a result of micro decisions that you make along the way. And these decisions that you made along the way, these micro affairs lead to a full-on affair. Let's go to the next sign, guys. Hope this is helping. Seeking out repeated intimate interactions with exes. Let me tell you something. Once it's over, it's over. Why are you still connecting with exes? Do you share kids? If you do not share children with an ex, what are you doing? Some of you really struggle to let go of relationships because, you know what, we're friends and, we were, things were good, things were well. It's not like we ended on bad terms. What's wrong with maintaining friendships? If you're in a new relationship, it could be toxic and compromising to your existing relationship. And though you may feel things are good, how does your partner feel? Wouldn't your spouse feel some type of way when you casually give your ex a call or you connect on social media? Here we are, we're watching TV. Maybe we're watching a movie, having a good time. I got my phone in my hand, and all of a sudden I get a notification, and I'm looking through my phone, and I'm texting, and I start giggling. What you doing, babe? Oh, nothing. No, I'm good. Nothing, right? So now, how disrespectful. I'm with my man, and I'm having conversations with my ex. Oh, it's no big deal. I'm just connecting with some friends. Oh, man, she crazy, right? Or maybe I'm not ridiculous enough, bold enough to do it in front of them. I respond to, oh, okay, I'm I'm gonna respond to that later. So when I get away from my partner, I have this secret exchange with my ex because I don't want my partner to know, because, oh my God, if they found out, what a problem it would be. That's an indication that it is a problem. Seeking out repeated, intimate interactions with an ex. So you know what I'm saying? Intimacy is a major problem because that is reserved for the one that you're in the relationship with. And if you're still getting needs met, emotional needs, mental needs, psychological needs, whatever it is, social needs met from an ex, and your spouse is not the one that you're going to get that from, it is a betrayal. It is a betrayal. And so the question is, why are you still connected? Okay? What business has not been handled? You know, what ends have not been cut off? What is the attraction? What is the attachment? Why can't you let go? Why can't you move on? Let the dead bury the dead. Maybe a crack was left open in that window. The door's still ajar because in your mind, I'm not sure about this. And you know what? I need to have a plan B. I need an alternative route. I need something just in case. That's how people treat relationships sometimes. Or maybe this is solid, this is good, but what's the big deal? We're just friends. And this is why we say, if it works for you and doesn't work for your partner, it doesn't work for the relationship. If it works for your partner and doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for the relationship. This is why you have to have ground rules. This is why you have to create a culture in your relationship. Every successful organization on the planet has a culture that all members of that organization are aware of and live out in order for the organization to thrive, in order for the members of that organization to be happy and fulfilled, in order for everything to go well. Why is it okay that corporations can have a culture, churches can have a culture, institutions can have a culture, but your marriage has no culture? Cultures are comprised of a number of different things. It is the way that we do life. But if you're doing your own thing and I'm doing my own thing, you got your own friends, I got my own friends, ain't nothing wrong with it. Hey, we connected to our past, we good friends, it's all good. Okay, let's see how far that goes. Let's see how far it goes. Now, listen, hey, if it works for you and you have boundaries and parameters put in place and you both are aware, do you. But if that's not the case, you got to shut it down. I told you. Give me that book, Madison. In the book, The Audacity of Marriage, I was just saying this with a couple just the other day. I've said it in previous sessions, and I'm going to say it again because it's what we need to hear. In the book of Hebrews, the 9th chapter, the 16th through the 17th verse, it is crystal clear. It says, for where a covenant is, well, where's the covenant? The covenant that we established on our wedding day when we gave our vows before all these people and God, that covenant, remember? That threefold covenant between you, your partner, and God, that covenant? Where a covenant is, there must of necessity be the death of the ones who made it. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Well, who made the covenant? I did, you did. Are you saying that there's got to be a death of the ones who made it? Well, we made the covenant. Something must die. Scripture goes on to say, for a covenant is valid only when men are dead. For it is never enforced while the ones who made it live. Folks, some things have to die. Some relationships have to die. Some behaviors have to die. Some mindsets have to die. There's got to be a death that takes place because when you die, you come back resurrected as a brand new you in a brand new relationship. There's got to be not a weaning off. We've got to just cut off. We've got to massacre. We've got to destroy. We've got to annihilate things that would compromise this covenant. See, many of you look at this thing as a contract, and like any contract, hey, if it doesn't work, we can get out of this contract, right? Divorce. But when you establish a covenant with God, it's supposed to be unbreakable. It's supposed to be for life. And nothing gets in this covenant that doesn't belong. But oftentimes we allow other people, other friends, exes, people from our past to get in these covenants. And the fact of the matter is, according to the statistics, when you connect with an ex on social media, after about 30 minutes of communication, those emotions that you once had, they begin to resurface. 30 days of communication, those relationships go from online to offline. And let's just meet for a cup of coffee. Morning, hey, how about we meet for lunch? Afternoon, hey, how about we meet for dinner? Evening, hey, how about we have a nightcap after dinner? And you know what that leads to. You got to destroy him. Something has got to die. You're watching the Couples Academy show. Be right back in just a second.
To the wives struggling to move forward, I know that you're hurt, filled with doubt, fear, anger, and resentment. I know you're trying to be your best self throughout this recovery process, all while still having to be mom, daughter, sister, friend, and so much more. I know it feels impossible to be there for everyone else when at times your journey feels so isolated and alone. I know that more than once a day, you scream on the inside, I can't take this anymore. I know there are days when you feel like you want to give up and run away. I know you spend too much time sitting in your car parked in the driveway to get your head right so that you can keep moving. I know this feels like a lot of work with no guarantees. And I know you wonder, what happened to me? Who am I? And why am I here? More than you'd like to admit. I know all of this because I once felt the way you do too. It may not be evident by looking around because we all wear our masks, but you're not the only one who feels like you'll never get back to you. That's why I've launched Unearthed. Unearthed is a 12-week group coaching program focused on discovering the woman within. Just as the earth hides all kinds of precious stones waiting to be found, buried within every woman are the seeds of wisdom, strength, purpose, and passion waiting to be brought to the light. Unearthed will take you through a spiritual, emotional, and physical excavation process that will reveal to you who God designed you to be and guide you through a process to embrace and activate your true identity. When you complete this journey, you'll have a new focus aligned with your core values so that you can begin to feel your life again and discover that your gifts aren't buried, but planted and waiting to be unearthed. Register today.
Hey guys, hope all is well. We're talking about micro cheating this morning. Hopefully I'm giving you something to think about, something to consider. Sit down, have a conversation with your spouse. Go through this because listen, I ain't doing nothing. Yeah, but are you doing this, sucker? Are you doing this? Let's go to the next one. I think this is something people can relate to. Seeking out repeated, intimate interactions with people you find attractive. And let me just say, when we talk about attraction, it's not just solely a physical attraction. Yes, that's the easy alley-oop, right? When you're physically attracted to someone, you can't take your eyes off them. You're like, man, whew. All right, let me get focused. Right? So that's easy. And so a lot of times people think that when an affair happens, it's solely because of a physical attraction. And so the questions begin to come, well, was she prettier than me? Did she have a better body than me? Is that what you like? That's your type? Oh, so you like light skin when I'm dark. Oh, you like dark when I'm light. You like tall when I'm short. You like thick when I'm thin. And we make it all about physical. Oh, okay. So he's 6'4". That's what you find masculine. Oh, okay. I see what you're looking at. So he got muscles and I got a pot belly. So that's what it was. That drew you away. And we limit it to just physical. And though that is a thing, And oftentimes we need to learn how to control our eyes. Listen, I wrote a book called Pimping from the Pulpit to the Pews, Exposing and Expelling the Spirit of Lust in the Church. Get it if you can on Amazon. But there's a chapter entitled Overcoming the Lust of the Eyes. And it talks about how every sin that exists started with first a look. So if we're thinking about Eve, who ate the fruit, it started with a look. If we're talking about Potiphar's wife, right? She cast her eyes upon Joseph. If we think about Samson, he saw a woman, right? If we think about David, he saw a woman bathing, right? Across his kingdom as he was out there walking and looking around. Every type of sin begins with a look. So you got to control these eyes. You got to control your eye gate. You got to keep your eyes on your prize. Who's your prize? The one that you said I do to in that covenant. This is why one of the most important emotional needs in a relationship is an attractive spouse. It is an attractive spouse. See, you were fine when we were dating and then something happened. You got comfortable. You got sloppy. You didn't care no more. What's looks got to do? That's so surface. It's got to be more than that. Okay, but you got competition every time your spouse walks out that door. That's why you got to be your best. You got to look your best. You got to make sure that you still have your spouse's eye, because there's so many other things competing for your attention. So whether I'm scrolling through a phone on Instagram, seeing models, or whether I'm, into porn, or whether I just go to work, right? And Sally, man, Sally's just so well put together. Frank, oh my God, Frank just knows how to, or I'm at the gas pump pumping gas, and it's everywhere. So you have to make sure that from a physical attraction perspective, you're doing all that you can to keep yourself together so that you still have your spouse's eye. But outside of the physical, attraction can come in many forms. We're going to do a show on this, guys. We talk about what we call the dangerous partner profile. The dangerous partner profile represents an individual who you have an instant attraction for, but you would never choose them as a life partner for obvious reasons. But man, you can't get away from that attraction, right? But it's not just physical. So sometimes you're attracted to their mind, their intellect. You're attracted to their recreation, their activities, things they like to do. Maybe you just have good connection and conversation that draws you in. But you're constantly seeking, you're constantly going after repetitively this connection with the ones that you are attracted to. Maybe it's not specific to a person. Maybe it's a type. This type of a person. I really like this type, and so I'm going to pursue this type every time I get. Nothing's wrong. I'm not doing anything inappropriate. I mean, I still got my wife, my husband at home, But, there's just something in me that desires something different and desires something more, and I'm going to pursue. Let's go to the next one. Revisiting a person when you feel upset in your committed romantic relationship. So that black book back in the day, back in the day it was a black book, but now that we have phones, smartphones, technology, I still got this number stored. I'm gonna give Lucretia a call, because you know what, Susie, she ain't acting right, and I'm just frustrated. I'm at my wit's end. I can't take this anymore. I'm calling Lucretia because Lucretia knows what time it is. What's going on, girl? How you feel? Yeah, can we get together? See how that happens? So you've got a plan B. You've got an alternative. You've got a second option. You haven't burned your ships. That ship is still waiting for you. You don't know what that means yet. We'll talk about that. But you haven't burned your ships, and there's always another option. There's somebody hiding in the shadows, waiting for something to go wrong, and that becomes your go-to. It's not like we talk every day. It's not like I'm doing anything wrong. See, some affairs, to be quite honest, people come together 2-3 times a year. They're based upon convenience. So sometimes when we're going through full discovery, it is hard for a spouse to believe, wait a minute, you've been in this thing for 2 years and you only see each other 2-3 times a year? Yeah, that's our vibe. That's just how we stick and move. That's just what we do. Months could go by. I haven't heard from her. I haven't seen her, but, it was that situation. I was in a dark place. We weren't connected. Things weren't going well. So I picked up the phone and boom, she was there. And so that's how we connected. See? You've got to burn it all. I said something's got to die. And if you're not willing to murder it and maim it and kill it violently, not the person, the connection, okay? If you're not willing to do that, then you're not serious about this thing. Let's go to the last thing. We're running out of time, folks. Here's the last one. Regularly draining your erotic energy with social media or other digital means, creating an intimacy drought in your relationship. I'm like this all day long. Man, I'm looking at, whew, man, I'm getting something out of this. Caught up in my social media, my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube. I'm gonna wait till she go to sleep, and then I'm gonna turn this thing on. Woo! But I'm good now because I know how to get fulfillment by watching and doing other things while I'm watching, and I'm good now, right? I've released. I don't have a desire for this. I'm good. I got my need met. I'm good now. And when you do that, you may not know who you're connected. Maybe it's that special one that you keep following because there's something about them. You're looking at their posts, you're looking at their pictures, you're looking at their outfits, and you're just waiting for the next video to drop. You're just waiting for the next video to post, the next picture to post. And that's the one. You like them, you follow them. Man, I can't wait to see. Oh my God. Right? That erotic energy is going towards that person. Now, you don't know this person, never spoke to this person, but that is just your choice, right? And it's just like, don't you know that that's a problem? You are draining and sucking the life and nourishment out of your emotional, erotic connection, and then you wonder why you are in the space that you are in. You're contributing to it. Guys, I wish I had more time. We're talking about micro-cheating. If you're getting something out of it, tune in tomorrow because we're going to go deeper. We're going to cover other topics because these are the things that you need. Love you guys. Stay tuned. See you in the morning. Take care.